And the last step is affiliation. Well, somebody's got to do this thing, and I don't want to do it. It's not alignment for me, right? It doesn't allow me to amplify. That's what affiliation's for. We need to partner with people who are strong where we're weak. Paul Orfila can't read and write, and yet he ran a company worth $2.4 billion. How did he do it? He hired people who could. Right? And ask yourself a question for a second. What happens to a culture when a CEO can admit to the people that work for him, I can't read and write, so I need you to do it for me? On the board, it says that it's good to be vulnerable, right? Vulnerability is sexy. Is it sexy? Yeah, damn. Sexy. Sexy to be vulnerable. What happens when the CEO, guess what? When the CEO says, I can't read or write, then when somebody gets a task that requires them to be super organized and they're not organized, guess what they feel free to say? I'm not super organized, so I'd rather not do that. Because guess what? The CEO can't be like, you're fired. You're like, you're illiterate, right? Like, that's not an argument. Like, disorganization's down here, like illiteracy, that's pretty serious. I don't know. Do you even understand the words? Right, that's not illiteracy. See, I know that. Okay. But I told you that story, but if you've got a kid, if you've got a son or a daughter who struggles to read and write, you don't introduce them to your friend's billionaire in training right here, right? We're just going to outsource that reading stuff. We're not worried about it, right? It's hard to affiliate because some things seem like stuff you just have to have, and that's why I chose reading and writing for my example. There's nothing that you have to have, but in business we call it collaboration when you partner with people who are strong where you're weak. In school, if you partner with people who are strong where you're weak, what do they call it? Cheating. So we grow up in a world that teaches us that an essential life skill is fundamentally wrong, and you have to be able to do everything by yourself or else you're going to be an unsuccessful person. There's another reason we don't partner with people who are strong where we're weak, and it's because we don't see that people are strong where we're weak. We see that they're weak where we are strong. We don't see that they have what we're missing. We see that they're missing what we have. Sometimes the people we need the most are the people we like the least. At my house, I try to stay hydrated because of my activities, my athletic activities. And if I'm drinking a glass of water here, 3/4 full, delicious and refreshing, but I want to do other things, I set it down. And that's my first mistake. I've lost physical contact with the beverage. Okay. Then I get involved in my activity. That's the second mistake. I've lost visual contact with the beverage. And when I get done with what I'm doing and I realize I'm thirsty and I go back to the beverage, can anybody tell me where it is? Because it's not there. It's in the dishwasher. It's in the sink. If it's a bottle, it's in the trash. And when I ask my wife where it is, does my wife calmly explain to me what happened? No, she loses her mind, right? I don't know where it is. There's bottles and cans and cups and mugs all over this house, and some of them have been around for 3 weeks, and they have stuff growing in them, and nobody helps around here except me. And maybe I did throw away your water, but maybe if I did, you could just go ahead and get another one. Whoa. Settle down, right? And by the way, that works perfectly. When someone's losing their mind and you tell them to settle down, they just go straight. Oh, it just brings that. I mean, I studied psychology. That's just a tip you can bank on. You just like, and use motion. Settle down, right? And then they realize, like, what an idiot they're being, right? Make sure the nonverbals communicate a total lack of respect for them as a person. And that really helps. That really, they're like, oh, I didn't realize I was being unreasonable. Thank you for mirroring back to me my ridiculous, this is just psychology 101. I shouldn't even have to spend time on that, but so why have I been married for 22 years to a woman who steals my beverages, okay? I realized at my house, the only way to stay hydrated, I have to have a Camelback backpack, right, with a straw that comes up to my mouth. I bought the Camelback at REI, by the way. A Camelback backpack, yeah. So why are we still together? Here's why. Because there's another side to the story, isn't there? See, my wife was in Guatemala a few months ago on a missions trip, and my kids needed a couple AA batteries. And I called her in Guatemala. Honey, where's the AA batteries? She said, you go down the hall to the right, third shelf in the back. There's a plastic tub labeled batteries right next to the plastic tub labeled label maker. I got them at the Container Store. Yeah. Yeah, I know where I am. All right. And then she said in the back of the tub is where we have the AA batteries. There's 5 AA batteries. There are 3 of them are Energizer, 2 are Duracell. Be careful, one of the Duracells is rechargeable. And at that moment, I'm not mad at my wife anymore, am I? I'm thinking to myself, I am so damn hot for you right now. I don't know what to do. My wife is inflexible because she's what? Because she's structured and organized. There's a weakness, there's a frustration, but there's also a big strength. And when I can be aware of her strengths and weaknesses, when I can accept her strengths and weaknesses, when I can appreciate her strengths and weaknesses, it frees me up to affiliate with her, to partner with her, and now I can have a more organized life without being more organized. I can be more well-rounded and well-balanced without being more well-rounded and well-balanced because I'm connected to somebody who has something I don't have, and I'm mature enough to appreciate that in them instead of pointing out the things that are negative about that characteristic. You guys are loving some Peter Drucker, so here's some more. Organizations exist to make people's strengths effective and their weaknesses irrelevant. Right? Is that what we're doing? Right? Organization, and we love that first part. Okay, we're going to build on people's strengths, but sometimes we're like, but you got to be better at that. Well, that's just a non-negotiable. Well, we just need people. No, it says to make their weaknesses irrelevant. It didn't say to fix their weaknesses. It said to make their weaknesses irrelevant, to design situations that make their weaknesses irrelevant. Organizations, our schools should do this too, by the way. Our marriages should do this too. When we parent our children, our families should be doing this too, but we're oftentimes not, aren't we? So we got to wrap it up. So who's strong where you're weak, right? And the quick answer to that is whoever's bothering you the most in your organization right now is probably strong where you're weak. Right? Because the very thing that frustrates you about them is your big picture, and they're always digging into the details, and you're like, come on. Guess what frustrates them about you is that you're always big picture and never on the details, right?